Hi guys, it's Larry from Larry the Hunt for Gold here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my video of me touring the Chollar Mine in Virginia City, Nevada that I went to this summer. So I'll be showing you guys a video, and the Chollar Mine it's such an old mine that the roofs are starting to kind of cave in, I guess. So you have to like hunch over or almost crawl through the mine about 500 feet back. So yeah, we're going to be showing you the video footage of it, so here you go.
Got everybody? Once again, I have tried several times to move these timbers with my head. It has not worked. So trust me. It's nice and cool back here.
It is, it feels good.
I'm Gus Chickens, the old prospector, the old mine. I'm about to head down to my old mining shaft to go get me some
What they
gold.
call a drift. We drifted with the ore vein, and then we came back to one of those pockets on the bench. So this is where they set up their timbering, and this is where they did their mining. Now, of course, that timbering made it possible for them as well as made it a lot safer. So when they first came in here, they didn't have the benefit of power tools. They had a piece of steel called a jack. Blunt on the turn. Now, why did they have to turn? Well, nobody told you stuff. Why did they have to turn the drill? If they didn't turn the drill, it was what?
It would get stuck, or you can't put the dynamite in there.
That's exactly right. Well, you're smart. And the other reason is that Powder Monkey was very, very particular about how he wanted it. He wanted to make sure when he blasted, he didn't want to blast out and fracture that entire ore face. He wanted to slice out that ore as soon as he could get away with it. Okay, done good.
Thank you.
Okay, your turn. The 3 people operated it. No, it was not called a triple jack. It was a government project.
Yeah. 2 guys working, 1 guy standing there watching.
That's exactly right. Now, the other difference is they didn't have a shovel to lean on.
Yeah.
Now, for light, all they had was a candle because that was all they could bring into these mines. They couldn't bring in anything that was going to give off a gas like carbon monoxide or worse. So, a candle. Now, you wouldn't think a candle would give off that much light until you find a candle is the only thing you have between you and total darkness.
Whoa.
Now, but your eyes get used to the darkness. And as your eyes become more accustomed to the low light, I can make out your facial features. I can see a shadow. And there's certainly more than enough light to work that ore face. But now let's suppose you're one of those mines where you're having to endure temperatures of 130 degrees, the sweat, the heat, the residue from the blasting, the dust. It is a very unpleasant place to be making your $4 a day. And to make your misery even more complete,
Whoa.
now you can't even see your hand in front of your face because you are in total darkness.
Yeah, it's dark.
Now, what would cause the candle to go out?
A fart.
Fart.
There.
The freeze.
Like an oxygen, right?
Yeah.
Now, the main shaft in this mine was a shallow component, opposed to the other mines. This shaft was only 1,640 feet. Are you okay? Why are you worrying me?
No, I'm good. I'm tall. This is a lot easier than.
You're like a dog, my friend.
It's like 6 Yeah.
Anything that came in this main shaft had to come in through that main shaft, powered by hoist works. And so all the equipment, all the hardware, all the machinery, the miners, timbers, everything came down through that main shaft. And that was distributed wherever it had to go. Anything else had to be dug by hand. With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you a shaft, opposed to giving you the shaft. How you doing there, young lady? You doing okay?
No, it's gonna stay the
You're not doing okay?
I am fine enough, but not going any further though.
Well, no, that's as far as we can go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. If you want to go any further,
I'm
we
in
have to do a
trouble,
lot
so
of
it ain't
digging,
gonna happen.
and there's no guarantee we'd ever get you out. Okay, now,
Let's see the
That's
shaft.
fine.
here's a shaft that one time was 300 feet deep.
Yeah.
Now about 10 feet because it was last used, we surmised, within the mid-1920s. See some groundwater down there that has seeped in during the winter. By mid-August, it'll be gone.
Oh, well.
Now, sometimes they dug these shafts to explore what was down below. Other times, like this one, they followed a vein that went down, and then when it veered off to the east, they went ahead and built a drift, followed that vein until they came to a bench or pocket.
Look at it.
Come on,
There you go.
there you are, Bart. You want to go down there?
Sure.
And it accessed it with a ladder. Did that youngster see it? Come here, son.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. If
Don't-
you look,
don't
there's
fall
water
in.
down there.
300 feet down. It was time to bring up the wind. All right, Jake, bring it on up. Once you got to this level, one bell. Dump the ore into the ore carts. Take it out to a ore tipple where it was stored until such time as they had enough to take to the stamp mills along the Kershaw River. Then if you heard 3 bells, what that was, all right, you guys, we're going to lower the bucket. You better get out of the way down there, because if for some reason that bucket breaks loose and hits one of you clowns down there, it's going to be your fault, not ours. Maybe that's what they said. The deadliest occurred in 1869. 38 miners lost their lives in an underground fire in the eastern extension to the Yellow Jacket mine. That fire raged for days. They couldn't put it out. 38 miners lost their lives, all but 5 were recovered, so there's still 5 entombed at the bottom of that mine.
Oh, wow.
Do you believe in ghosts, honey?
Oh, yes, I do.
You ever seen one?
I've talked to a few.
Oh, well, we did. You find it, Tim. Well, I gotta say, I've never seen a ghost. But I got some skeletons in my closet we're not going to discuss today. I can tell you that. Now, what were they looking for? When they first came into these mines in 1859, 1860, 61, they were looking for gold and they found it. But they were doing a pan mining situation where they had to use rockers and everything else. But they were also running into this other stuff that was getting into the way of their mining operation. It was a like bluish gray. It was a sulfide. When it got wet, it got real sticky and gooey. And so for that reason, it was considered waste. And they ended up with piles of this stuff laying all over the place because it was considered waste. They had no idea what it was. So one day, 1863, contrary to popular belief before I was born, somebody took some of that blue-gray muck to Nevada City, California, and had it as a, come with me, honey, I got something to show you. I promise not to leave you astray.
Okay.
40 years ago, it might have been different. Took some of that blue-gray muck to Nevada City, California, and had it assayed. Ladies and gentlemen, it assayed at $100 a ton in high-grade silver, and that's what it looks like.
Oh, wow.
That's
Oh,
silver.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
See the bluish gray?
Yep.
That is silver.
Oh, wow.
Silver, ladies and gentlemen. See where the vein starts and goes down.
Wow.
That's silver. The kind of silver that goes into a young lady's ring when she gets married. The same silver that she gives her husband in the form of a ring and places it in his nose. Silver. Silver. Silver, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you're asking, I know you're going to ask, well, why is it still here? We had this assayed about 3 years ago. It assayed at 15 ounces of silver per ton.
Whoa.
That's considered low grade.
Great.
So it was low grade now, it was low grade back then. And so they left it because it cost more to take it out than it was what it was worth. So we have found its value is to show you what it looks like in its rawest form. Now, I was born in Bethlehem, 4 miles from Nazareth. But I'm not a direct descendant of the Immaculate Conception because I was born in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Now, those early miners had to take canaries with them inside those coal mines because the canaries were very sensitive to a gas called methane. Don't fall down and bust up my rail now. So, and when the methane got just so high, then the canary would drop dead. Well, it was obviously saved a lot of miners, but it was hell on canaries. Well, here they didn't have that problem. Here, this was all underground hard rock, so they didn't have to worry about poisonous gas. But they had to have some way of knowing there was a problem in the mine. Rats.
Rats.
Used to feed them out of the lunch boxes, give them snacks throughout the day. If you know your history, you'll know that rats are responsible, and the flea that was on the rat killed 20 million people in the 14th century due to bubonic plague.
Yeah.
Here, just the opposite. They saved lives because they could smell smoke before there was a fire. They could sense movement in the mine before there was a cave-in. And so when a rat started to scurry around in panic, the miners knew it was time to saturate that place for their absence. Rats. Pet goat, $7.50. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Are we gonna go further?
I can't hear him.
Are you going any farther?
No, this is as far as we go. Although this mine goes back another 1,000 feet, and down below another 1,600 feet. But that was sealed off many, many years ago, even before this mine reopened in 1961. And I understand there is a stope back there as large as a barn. So you're all well informed, or you're bored? Which is it?
They sealed it off with dynamite.
Well, what happened? World War II started in 1941. And so the government passed the Non-Essential Minerals Act, which meant that only those mines that were essential to the war effort were allowed to continue. Gold and silver was excluded from that. So the U.S. Corps of Engineers came up here and not only shut it down, they sealed them. And so the year that I was born, they didn't want anybody up here. The year that I was born, 1945, you could have had any property up here for less than $100. That changed in 1959. Why? Because of a television program that aired from 1959 to 1973. Anybody remember what that program was? You're right. But it distorted our history. It made us think we were a cowboy town. I was the only rancher on this side of the county. I was running cattle on 40,000 acres of open range, and I still had to feed them. That's how bad the range was. Because I had to share with 1,600 head of wild horses. Only in Nevada is a wild horse considered a sacred cow. But anyway, this was a mining empire. We were not a cow town. I had the only ranch on this side of the county. We sold the ranch because we became a nonprofit organization, and that wasn't our goal. Just remember, behind every successful rancher, there's a wife with a good job in town. Yeah. Okay, any questions? Okay, I got some closing comments for you when we get outside, and I'll follow everybody out.
Oh, okay.
Well, I know you want to get back out there.
No, that's okay. I have to wait.
That is.
Yeah, she can just walk.
Okay, huh? You didn't scratch at all.
There you have it, proof that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
That's right.
Now, Nevada is a very unique state, ladies and gentlemen, because for several reasons. Notwithstanding the fact our past is still our present. You go east of here, you'll still find remnants of the original Pony Express Trail. The Immigrant Trail, where 350,000 people made that trek from east to west from 1845 until well after the turn of the century. You go east of here, you'll still find places where a man's worth is still based on his ability to train a horse and use a rope. That's how I made my living for a long time. In fact, I used to walk up to pretty girls like this. I rode calves, ma'am, and I definitely like yours. You know that line never worked?
Never back. Unless you got the right girl.
Well, you know, there was a time in this town where you could walk up to a pretty girl and say hello, and she'd say, okay.
Yeah.
And so, and where family values is something that's taken as a matter of course, and not something that we say to be politically correct. And the reason is, we have these small little towns throughout Nevada where they have to rely on that indelible pioneering spirit for them to survive as well as to prosper. So for that reason, we are protective of our culture, we're protective of our traditions, we're protective of our history. But now we have a lot of people that are moving here from other parts of the country, especially that state west of us, where they're starting to infringe on our infrastructure and our way of life. And so we ask people, editorial comment now, if you want to move here from other places, please accept what we have here. We have a lot of wonderful things in this state, including places where the air hasn't been used yet, and we're still relatively free. As an example, see that ridge of mountains way off in the distance, kind of hazy, but you can barely see. That's the Stillwater Range, ladies and gentlemen. That's 100 miles from here. And so we have all these wonderful things, but we're being impacted by the immigration of people from other parts of this country. They're looking for tax-free status or looking for political asylum, but they're impacting us also. So that's my editorial comment. So thank you for being here today. There's two other things you should do today. Number one, take the trolley and take the train if you haven't already.
We took the trolley.
It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you take the train also. Okay.
I love trains.
Good for you. Good for you, young man. Nothing gets me more excited than a kid that loves trains. So anyway, that's what you should do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching my Chollar Mine exploration video. If you like my video and want me to do more of these mine videos, just comment you want to see more mine videos, and I'll probably get some more out. Also, guys, if you go to the Chollar Mine in Virginia City, Nevada, tell the people who own it that Larry Life's The Hunt for Gold sent you. Well, with that, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!